Welcome back to the No Friend channel. I'm Felix, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I always forget to do that. But I was on TikTok. I was trying to find something more to gear the gear the podcast towards, and thinking relationships. So I'll start with that because I was on TikTok, and they were talking about taking responsibility for other men's actions, and I was thinking, no. I mean, they're grown. They should be held accountable for their own actions. Uh, I shouldn't have to hold their hand and be like, no, don't do that. There was a lot of people saying, oh, you don't get it, you don't get it. Actually, I do get it. The problem is, you want me to hold a grown adult's hand. I'm not doing that. I got my own life to worry about. And also, they were talking about, well, they don't know what you're capable of. Talking about women, well, that can apply to anyone. And I mean anyone. The reality is, don't go acting a fool one. Because in some of these cases, it is people acting a fool and then not realizing that the person around doesn't play that. In some cases, it is you have a predator, male or female, who's just waiting for that moment to attack, to strike. So to say it's all men, it's the same as saying it's all women. It's the same as saying that all black people are criminals. And that's not true. So I think that's the problem that I have with this, that they keep saying all. No, stop saying that. It's wrong. It is so wrong. It's so messed up to say all. You say all, and next thing you know, there's a reason both sides are beefing. It's because you keep saying all. Stop saying all. I mean, you can say some men are like this, or some men do this. Yeah, some, not all. When you do that, you're demonizing everyone, and that's not fair. That's like saying all women are gold diggers, all women are this, all women are that, and it's not true. And I think that's part of the problem is that neither side wants to give an inch. So really my response to both sides is shut the hell up, because most of you are single. Or better yet, all of you are single. How's that? Because on both sides it's nothing but single people telling other people how to get into a relationship. And it's like, you have no clue because you're single and you've been single for years and you complain about not finding the right person. And I've said this before, if you're single and you're always single, and yeah, it's you. Or if you're going from relationship to relationship, it's you. You need to stop and look and reevaluate the kind of people you're dating. And if you're always in bad relationships, or always in fear for your life when you're in a relationship, what the hell are you doing? Who are you hanging around? Are you literally going to the worst parts on earth and picking up people to have relationships with? Because I hear even men be like, oh, she sometimes swings at me. She does this. She throws things at me. That's not normal. What the hell? Did you grow up in that? And what the worst part is, you'll find that a lot of them did not grow up in that environment. And it's like, now I want to smack them, like smack some sense into them. Like, what the hell? It's like, get out. I don't know why it's been normalized for women to hit people, but I do like the fact it's becoming normalized for men to swing back. And there's been a couple of situations where, like, there was a recent TikTok. This woman is being up a customer service guy, and he had enough, and he put her in a chokehold and slammed her to the ground. And I'll be honest with you, my instinct would have been to swing back as soon as she hit me. That's my first instinct. You hit me, I hit you. And oh man, if I had hit her, it wouldn't have been pretty. So I think she was lucky that he choked her and just threw her to the ground, because he probably could have seriously hurt her. So, one, keep your hands to yourself. And there was that one TikTok where they talk about old heads always got to say something when you're talking about abusive relationships. It's like, first off, don't blame the old heads because I'm one of those now. No, that's assholes. Let's put it that way. Let's put it to people who are abusive. That's who's defending that stuff. Like the example of, like, if I tell you to shut up, do you think it's a good idea to keep talking? My response to you is like, if I'm talking now, if I'm being loud and if I'm being loud and rude and stuff, okay, I get it. But if I'm just talking and you tell me to shut up, I'm be like, who the you think you're talking to? And we're gonna be scrapping. You don't just tell me shut up just because you're tired of me talking, and you're the only one tired of me talking. No one else said anything. It'd be different if it was a group thing, like, hey, let someone else talk. Okay, fine. But if you just come up to me and be like, shut up, we're going to have a problem. Because my first response is, well, who are you talking to? Like, you are not talking to me. And I will call you a little boy. I will call you a little boy to your face. You come up to me talking like that, like you're going to do something. 9 times out of 10, it's some little piece of crap person who does that. Like, man, shut up. Like, or what? Or what? What are you going to do? And 9 times out of 10, they back. Because there's a video, it's a short black guy. I don't know how tall he is. He's probably, I'll give him 5'7", maybe, 5'6", somewhere around there. And he's 2 white guys. And the white guy tells the black guy to shut up, or I have to do something. And the black guy goes, oh, no, I want this smoke. And he gets ready. And the other white guy's like, oh, wait a minute. No. Yeah. And the white guy that was yapping his mouth got real quiet and didn't say a word after that, because he's like, uh-oh, he really wants to fight. The problem is that white guy was so used to his size, getting him out of situations, that when it came time to put up, he couldn't. So it's one of those situations where either put up or shut up, and he shut up because he realized he screwed up, because that guy was ready to go. But I know I got off topic with relationships, but yeah, both sides, it's like, just shut up. Because you're both single, you have no clue what you're talking about. I think the best answer to it is there's this guy who does dinosaur stuff. I should have got his link on TikTok, but he'll stitch relationship stuff, and he goes, well, okay, and start talking about dinosaurs. And I think he has the best reaction to all of it. And that's the best reaction to have. Because, one, it's online people, first of all. Let's just point that out. The majority of these people online represent a very small portion of America. I would say, overall, I'll go even double, I'd say maybe 10 to 15% they represent America. Because most Americans aren't doing this crap that they're saying, this is how you get a man, this is how you get a woman. Yeah, we're not doing that. No one's doing that. I've been married for 20 years, with my wife for 22 years, and I didn't do any of the crap that these people are saying. I once told a girl she had nice breasts, and it worked. So there's no guarantee that you're going to get a girl with any of this advice. The best bet is really, as old as it sounds, is to be yourself. But I'm going to throw a little extra on that, and I've said it before. So my extra is that be yourself, but if you don't like who you are, change. You are allowed to change who you are. You don't have to keep being that same person. If you don't like who you are, change. I started doing these videos not so much to change, but kind of get back to where I was. I used to be able to talk. Let me start from the beginning. Growing up, I found out early on I cannot be myself around people. Because when I am myself around people, one, I end up making them feel stupid because I'm a lot smarter than I'll let on. 2, they don't get my sense of humor. 3, it turns out they're a-holes. And every now and again, when I am around people, I can actually be myself. I have a blast. But when I'm around people who are, because like in school, people thought I was being shy. The truth is, I knew if I was myself around these people, one, they'd be telling everyone, oh my God, I can't believe he did that. It's like, you did it too. Why is it only a conversation if I do it? And that happened to me before. It's like, everyone else was doing it. I did it. And suddenly, oh no, I can't believe he did that. It's like, what the hell? And so it's like, yeah, and I actually hang out around those people. It was just like, that was so weird. But yeah, it was just, I didn't understand. I still don't get why it was a big deal if I did it. But also, like I said, if you don't like who you are allowed to change who you are. Doesn't mean you have to change yourself 100%. Just look at the stuff that you don't like about yourself and change it. And what I was saying about the videos is that I stopped being myself, basically. And then when I moved away, I was kind of being more myself, but I was still cautious. I felt people out to see how far I could go and stuff. And I was able to talk. There wasn't a word I couldn't pronounce. I could learn to pronounce a word with the greatest of ease. I could say anyone's name. But over time, because I became more antisocial, I didn't like being around people, that I lost that ability. I can't really say people's names anymore. It's hard for me to say those really complicated names. I have to hear it over and over and over and over and over and over now. where I could hear it maybe 3 times and I could have it. But yeah, I can't do that anymore. So that's part of the reason I'm doing these videos, is to work on my speech, to get better at talking, to try to make eye contact too. Because I got good at doing eye contact without being creepy, and I kind of lost that ability. No, I really did lose that ability. Because now when I look at someone, it's like, oh, I think I'm a bit creepy. And sometimes I get this dead stare too, where I don't even realize I'm staring at you. I'm lost in Lululand in my imagination, especially if I'm working out. I'm not paying attention to you. You are not that important to me. I'm working out. And I think there's a couple of people who probably thought I was staring at them. In reality, I was not. I was just focused on working out. Like I'll be staring in the mirror, and sometimes I'll kind of look off to the side, and my eyes will stay that way while I'm doing my set. And I don't even realize I've turned my eyes, and it looks like I'm staring at someone. And the reality is, I'm not. I didn't even notice you. And then one time I was working out, and I'm in the zone. I moved from machine to machine. I'm in the zone. And when I finished my set, I realized, oh, this girl's been bending over in front of me the whole time, and I didn't even notice. It was like, who else? I was like, then I kind of looked around. The other guys were staring, but she was like directly in front of me, and I didn't even notice. It's just like I was just in the zone, and I legit didn't notice her. And part of my brain was like, where the hell did she come from? I don't remember her being there. So yeah, I just zone out and get into it. But well, back to relationships, like I said, you're allowed to change yourself. You don't have to be the person you are. If you don't like yourself 100%, then change. One of the ways to change, work out. Or better, if you're working out and you still don't like yourself, you may have to cut back or stop to reevaluate. One, why are you working out? And two, did you start working out to get a girl or get the guy? If that's the case, that means you've lost your motivation. Because either A, you didn't get the person, or B, you got the person and realized it wasn't worth it. And now you're like, you don't know what to do. Your motivation's gone. But yeah, if you're constantly single or constantly in abusive relationships or constantly just in bad relationships, it's 100% you. I'm sorry to break it to you. It's you. And a lot of people say, what about those people who mask who they are? If you're constantly dating someone who always ends up hurting you or abusing you, and you haven't picked up on the signs that, hey, this is the same thing that the other person did, and you keep going forward, you're purposely not paying attention. That's what's going on. You're purposely, openly choosing not to see any of the red flags. And that's really scary, actually, when you think about it. That you're going to be with someone who could potentially be abusive or a manipulator or narcissist, so on and so forth, but you're still being with them. Like if you're, like there was I'm trying to remember, I want to say it was on TikTok. This girl was talking about her friend who's always in an abusive relationship, and she doesn't get why her friend doesn't see it. It's like, because she chooses not to. She likes that toxic relationship. And there are some people who like toxic relationships. It's not just women. Men do it too. Like I said, men talk about their women throwing things at them and hurting them. It's like, yeah, but she, this. It's like, no, she's going to kill you. She's literally going to kill you one day. And it has happened. There's like the girl in high school, she drove her car into a wall to kill her boyfriend. And she succeeded. So she killed her boyfriend and his friend. And it's just like, that was proof she's crazy. I mean, there was proof ahead of time, like her ex even talking about she's crazy. Like when they asked the ex, do you think she did? And he's like, yeah, she did that. She did that on purpose. And the more and more they talk to people, it's like, oh yeah, she did it on purpose. No one had any doubt in their mind that she did that on purpose. They're like, that girl's crazy. And it's sad that no one stepped in to get him away from her because she kept threatening to kill herself. And I'm the type of person like, don't make a threat you can't back up. I'm like, okay, bye. That would not have bothered me. Because one, I know you're crazy, so I'm getting away from you. And two, if you're threatening to do that, I'm going to go get restraining orders. I'm going to call the police on you, do welfare check, And that way it's all away from me and it's all good. I don't have to worry about you no more. But yeah, if you're constantly single, constantly in bad relationships, again, it's you. You just need to reevaluate the type of people you're dating. I guarantee if you went through and did a checklist of all the relationships you've been in, all the traits they had, you would see it. But again, you're choosing not to. But on that same thing about relationships, the black girl effect and the black guy effect, I've seen both sides. You see the black girlfriend effect more versus the black boyfriend effect. What I found interesting, the black girl effect, when you're dating, they always have them dressing nicer. They're in better clothes, their hair's done, they're better well kept. And then the black boyfriend effect, whether the girl is white or whatever, she's in jeans, she's in jogging pants, she's in a sweatshirt, makeup's not done, her hair's in a ponytail or just not done. And a lot of people talk about, ugh, that's a miss. And I'm like, actually, it's not. I think, to me, it's like, I think you guys actually missed the point of that. With the black guy effect, is that these women felt so comfortable around their men that they didn't feel the need to be dolled up 24/7 around them. That their man is okay with them looking the way they look. I think I talked about this before, but yeah, it's just, with that, it's like the woman becomes comfortable enough to where they're even like break wind around you. They're comfortable enough to be in their dirty clothes. They're comfortable enough not to have to do their makeup in the morning. They're comfortable enough not to have to do their hair. But I think if they were to get dolled up, they probably look gorgeous. You know, they'd be dressed up like their man. Their man be dressed up. They'd be dressed up, ready to go. But I think with the pictures, I think they were purposely trying to show it as though, you know, it had no effect on these women. It's like, but it did, because these women are comfortable. They're happy in their relationships to where they can just be themselves. And I think that speaks volumes. And as for the girlfriend effect, that's not to take away from the guys. You know, if they're not comfortable, it's just the guys never had the reason to dress up, to dress nice and all this stuff. And now they're with someone who says, you know, you'll feel better if you dress up, take care of yourself. And the guys are like, you know what? You're right. I do. And they just love it. It's just like, wow, I didn't think I could wear this. You got me wearing stuff I never thought I could wear. You know, because, so there's pluses to both. And I'm sure there's some minus to both, but the effects are not going to be the same, because the women were already dressing up, probably trying to get the man's attention. They got his attention and they got comfortable around that man. And it's just like, I don't have to do this anymore. I don't have to wear the 4-inch heels. I don't have to wear 4 pounds of makeup. I don't have to have my hair done every day. I can just relax around this guy, and this feels awesome. And in some cases, the man ends up finding you more beautiful without all that, because he gets to see the real you and he enjoys the real you. And a lot of time, there's this myth that a lot of this stuff is done for men, that women do all this stuff for men, and it's not true. I would say, I'll split it. I'll even say it's 50-50. It's 50% man and 50% women that this is done for. Well, I'm trying to think. I don't know how to do thirds. I can't. My brain's not working. I'm going to say part of it's for women, part of it's for men, and then part of it's for themselves. I would say the majority of it's for themselves, and the other part is for men and women. Because one, a lot of women do want to look nice. They want to dress nice. They do want to look good. But some women don't care about all that, and that's okay too. Not all women are into all that stuff. Like I said, that's perfectly fine. But at the same time, a lot of these same women will blame men for having to do all this stuff. It's like, have you not been paying attention? There's more men saying, don't do all that stuff. We want to see the real you. We want to see what you look like when you wake up with no makeup on. They want to know what they're potentially getting into a long-term relationship or maybe even marrying. They don't want to find out years later that you look nothing like this without makeup. To find out you got like a scar going from one end of your face down to the other. It's like, They want to see the flaws. And a lot of women don't realize that. There's a lot of men that actually do want to see the flaws. And it's not so they can judge you, so they can see the real you. And you'd be surprised how many men actually are happier when you're willing to relax around them and just be you. Those are the relationships that work the best. Is that when you can just be yourself around each other. And there's this, I'm going to call it a myth too, where it's a big myth, where men are not allowed to talk about their feelings. That all started because of, I'd say back in the 50s, 60s, well, even before then. I would say around the 80s and 90s, that began to change. And there were women who wanted to know what's going on in their man. Because it used to be women, there were women who really did want to know with their man, what's going on with their man, you know. But then somewhere, I would say when the internet started to take off, this whole myth got bigger again, got reinfused that this is why men don't talk to women. And they said, would you rather share your feelings with a woman or talk to a brick wall? And they always choose the brick wall. It's because the internet has decided that, no, let's go back to that. And women are saying it's an ick when men express their feelings. It's like, that's not all. That's why I say it only represents a small percentage of men and women. The internet only represents a small percentage of men and women. And I think that's a big part of what a lot of people have forgotten is that that's just a small, small percentage. And we forget that. And we have to remember that this is not all women. This is not all men. And we got to be careful when we're deciding who to date and stuff. Even if you're doing dating apps, I brought this up before. I met my wife on a dating app. And like I said, we've been together a total of 22 years. So you can't blame dating apps. And you really can't put it all on social media either. And once again, you know, you have to take responsibility. You have to take accountability. And that's something that also bothers me when it comes to women is that it's not what women do, it's what they say about women not taking accountability. There are tons of women who take accountability. Like I said, it's a small percentage. The internet makes it seem like no woman takes accountability, and that's not true. There are women who take accountability. It's just the internet's trying to convince you that no woman takes accountability and all men are predators. And that's something we need to get away from. I wish I had to force or some way to get people to listen to me to be like, hey, he's right. And get those people off the internet, man, because they're making it hard for people, to be honest with you. They're influencing people in negative ways, and that's not a good thing. We need to see more positive couples, more positive people out there talking about good relationships and how to deal with good relationships and how to keep a good relationship. Unfortunately, you always see the people talking about bad relationships because sadly, those are more entertaining. That's probably one of the reasons I would never jump off and be super I'm not about all the negativity. I never have been. I wish people the best. You know, there was that rapper, I want to say it was Kevin Gates. Yeah, I think it was Kevin Gates talking about, you know, he always from what I've seen, he's always putting down black people. And then he talked about black people putting him down. It's like, every time I see you, you're always putting down black people. Maybe stop putting down black people. Because that's another stereotype that we need to kill is that, you know, they always try to make it seem like black fathers are not in the home. Black women are more likely to become single moms. It's all a lie. None of it's true. It has never been true, actually, for black people. Did you know the women's right movement actually wasn't for black women? It was designed to actually hurt black people. That's not a joke. Look it up. It really was meant to hurt the black family. And it worked in a way. Another problem is you'll see people on the internet talking about, wish we could get back to, you know, black families back in the day. Oh, you mean when grandpa was beating grandma? That did not happen in every house. So we need to stop that narrative too. Did it happen? Yes, it happened. And it wasn't just in black homes. That happened in white, black, Hispanic, Asian, so on and so forth. It still happens. I'm not denying that didn't happen or hasn't happened. But it didn't happen in every home. It happened in a small percentage of homes. And people who say everyone's got that one uncle, no, we don't. We all don't have that one uncle. We really don't. And I think that might be my thing, trying to dispel myths about black people. But yeah, it's just like, it's not that hard to just open your brain and use it. But for some people, it seems like it's impossible for them to do that. And I think that's why I was thinking about relationships, because it's like people are just looking for the quick answer to find that perfect relationship, and there is no answer. That's why I said the reality is it does come down to you. It comes down to you and your personality. There are some people who 100% refuse to change anything about them, and they're allowed to do that. If they don't want to have to change in order to get someone, they don't have to change to get someone. And I hate when I see people trying to change someone to the person they want. And they try to make it always seem like it's always women doing it, but men do it too. Men and women both do it in relationships where they try to change the person they're with. And it's not just a straight thing. I've seen gay couples do this too, where they try to change the person they're with into the person they want. And I always thought that was interesting. Like, why are you dating that person if they're not the person you want to date? Well, they're almost, no, they're not even close to being the person you want. Because you'll hear people saying, I put all this work into creating you. It's like, what? Why? You only dated them so you could create them? No, you're a horrible person if that was your motivation. But yeah, if you don't want to change who you are, then don't. But if you also at the same time don't like who you are, you're allowed to change who you are. You don't have to 100% change who you are. Unless you 100% don't like anything about you, then change it. That's why when I see like, I'll go with the incels, because the incel videos are really popular. And I can't remember what the name for women was. The opposite, well, not the opposite, but the gender swap of incel. We'll just say incel. I can't remember which chromosome's which. I was going to say incel this, incel that. But we'll say incel boys, which they are boys. A lot of those guys, what's weird is I've seen some of these incels, and it's like, they're not bad looking. It is 100% you. If women are turning you down, it's like, just don't do that. You need to work on your personality. Although that reminds me of, was it Fresh and Fit? Is it Marlon, the skinny one? Is he black? Actually, I don't know if he's black. But anyways, he was doing one of these things on campus talking, and a guy was coming up there talking about, I followed your advice, blah, 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 blah. I found God, blah, blah, blah. The reason I'm saying blah, blah, blah to the guy is because, one, the guy that found God sounded stupid. Now, that's not to say I agree with Mark. I can't think of any time I've really agreed with him on anything. But the reason the guy who found God sounded stupid, he was blaming Marlon for following Marlon's advice. And my thought is, you're a grown-ass man. No one told you to follow that man's advice. I guarantee you, everyone around you was saying, what the hell are you doing listening to that fool? He was part of that Red Pill podcast. He bought into it, and it sounded like he did not want to take responsibility for what he did. It's like, you haven't changed. You just found a new outlet. You haven't changed at all, in my opinion. If you haven't taken responsibility for your actions, you haven't changed. It's like, you're trying to blame him because his guy was mad trying to get Marlon to take responsibility for his action. And even Marlon was like, yeah, but you did what I told you to, and now you are where you are. And sadly, he wasn't wrong, actually. This guy had to crawl through muck in order to get to where he is now. A lot of times you got to fall down before you can get up. And this guy went down a dark path. I don't know why he chose to go. Like, have sex with as many women as you can. That's what he did. It's like, yeah, you don't got to do that, first off. I don't know why this guy thought that. Which clearly means it was your personality is one thing. That you thought that you had to do that. So, yeah. So, that's why I didn't like that one. Because it made me be on Marlon's side. It's like, I'm sorry, but you're wrong on this. It's like, you haven't changed because you haven't taken responsibility for your actions. And I could see him falling out of a phase with the church and cheating on whoever he's with because he hasn't changed. Or the person just leaving him and him snapping it and doing something horrific. Yeah, if you're the type of person who follows someone else's advice and you blame the person whose advice you followed, you haven't taken responsibility for your actions. You are at fault. You are the adult. You need to take responsibility for your actions in order to truly change. And I just thought that was hilarious. It's just like, you haven't changed. You just, it's like when an addict gives up one thing for another. Like, I've seen addicts, like cigarettes. We use cigarettes, so that's a good example. That's one that is easily the spot too. The number of times I've seen people stop smoking and go to eating and gain weight like nobody's business is ridiculous. And it's a common thing because it's what's it called, an oil fixation. They always got to have something about, like, in some cases they'll switch cigarettes for gum, and that works for a time. But some people get sick of the gum and start eating food and just eating and eating. You'll see them always munching. Hey, is that why I do it? I didn't really smoke. I used to like cigars. I didn't smoke them that often. Yeah, it just dawned on me. But yeah, for smokers, it's because they're constantly trying to fill that void of the cigarette smoke, of the nicotine rush and all that. And so food has replaced that, and now they're somewhat getting that rush from food, and because of the oil fixation. And in some rare cases, they take that fixation and transfer it to sex. And they're trading one addiction for another, and that's what's going on. That's what I was like. If you don't take responsibility, like AA, they have those the 12-step program. The thing is, you have to, first thing in any addiction is you got to admit you have an addiction. The second step is taking ownership of that addiction. And next is admitting that you need help. And if you can't do those things, then yeah, you're in trouble. You could die. You can die from just about any addiction. Are there good addictions? I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Some people try to argue that there's good, like eating healthy is a good addiction to get on. But there are people who've died from eating healthy because they went overboard with eating healthy, which is crazy when you think about it. Like drinking too much water, you can actually die from drinking too much water. So you got to be careful with addictions. But overall, that situation, it was like the guy wasn't taking responsibility for his actions. And that's where, like I said, incels, their personalities are generally off. And I don't mean off like where I was talking about myself, where I would fill people out. Their personalities are off. Because they have thoughts, like some dark thoughts, beyond normal dark thoughts. And that's not just for guys, that's even the incel girls. They have these dark thoughts. And the difference between the guys and the girls can get away with it a little more, especially if they're attractive. Because then it's just looked at, oh, that's just her. Like a lot of those girls who are, like the girl who drove the car into a wall, I guarantee there were tons of red flags around her. But she was willing to put out, and she was attractive, and she got away with it. Well, she didn't get away with the car thing. She's actually in jail for that. But yeah, but girls can get away with it a little more than boys. And as I said girls, because these are not women. Women don't act like this. Men don't act like this. But these little boys, their personality, in some cases, even when the guy's attractive, because I think what it is with the guys, even when the guy's attractive, they themselves don't necessarily see themselves as attractive, so they don't dress correctly, they don't hygiene. It's weird. With incel guys, their hygiene goes down. They don't dress the way they should be dressing, and they dive into it. They make it the whole personality. With incel girls, it's like, especially with the internet, they're basically being taught they can get away with it. Just put out, and you'll be okay. That's why I say what girls can get away with, guys can't really, because it affects. That's like I talked about it in one of my podcasts. The different things I've seen with people who have like autism, where it seems like the girl becomes, her sex drive goes up, versus a guy with autism, his sex drive goes down. And I've never seen a guy with autism who had whose sex drive went up. It's just like, I always wonder if hormones, if the, what's that, testosterone levels have something to do with it. Because testosterone, see, I can't even talk. That's what I'm talking about, doing the podcast to help with my pronunciation. And my nose is clogging up. I wonder if testosterone has something to do with autism. I wonder if that's ever been investigated. Because there's a lot of things, they always focus on the brain, but I wonder if the chemical imbalance of that, either estrogen and testosterone levels are messed up in the body, you know. Because also, obviously a lot of like Down syndrome people, like guys are like usually buff and the girls are usually chubby. And I always wonder about the chubby girls with Down syndrome. Are they chubby because the parents just gave in and let them eat whatever they want? Or are they chubby because it's a side effect of having Down syndrome? I always wondered about that. Because in guys, they're not always necessarily chubby. Some are strong as hell. Yeah, it's like they're just naturally strong. It's like, Jesus Christ. You know, you're born with the strength of the Hulk or something. And so it's like, to me, I see it as more of a chemical imbalance. Something didn't balance out right. And I know with Down syndrome is the extra chromosome that causes it. But still, part of me wonders about the hormones as well with that, like, you know, estrogen, testosterone, things like that, if that plays a factor in it. But, well, I think that was a pretty good podcast. Talked more than I thought I would about relationships. So, yeah, maybe that's why I need this. That's what I was trying to do originally with my podcast, is find a subject, talk about throughout the whole podcast. But for some reason, I couldn't do it. And I never understood why. Because, like I've said before, I will have 5-10 minutes conversations in my head. And then when it comes time to podcast, say, poof, it's gone. And I try to do some paragraphs with some stuff. And I got some things in here, like, I might talk about the P. Diddy in one podcast. Just that'll be the whole podcast. Just kind of going over P. Diddy. But this one was about relationships, and hopefully it helps someone. Like I said, a lot of things that you hear about relationships, especially the Black community, are myths. And some were never, ever true. And still are not true. Just real quick on the Black myths, it's like, you know, fathers not being in the home. That's a myth. There's statistical, I should have found it and posted it. I need to find it. But there is proof that Black men, there are more Black fathers in the home than anyone else in the United States. And always has been. And that's why, like, the whole Black on Black crime is a myth. Because if you go and look at the statistical data of other races, a lot of them are actually higher. We never hear about, you know, white on white crime, Asian on Asian crime, Hispanic on Hispanic crime. It was Black on Black. And that's something else that's always bothered. Why you guys always target the Black people? Actually, why do you always target Black Americans? Because even Black people in other countries target Black Americans. Like, are we really that on your mind that you're so jealous of Black Americans that you just got to hate on us? Oh, well, that was just a thought. Because you see it so much, it's like, you do realize if you actually just left Black America alone and let us be us, this country would be thriving in ways you couldn't even imagine. All right, everyone. Hopefully you guys get something out of this. If not, what are you going to do? All right, don't forget to like and subscribe. Everyone take care. Later.